What if you finally found an escape from it all? But first, you had to take a leap of faith.
Wander with us.
Hit the music.
Bethany.
I am still Connor.
And this is Wander with Us.
It is still the greatest podcast we do.
The greatest one about the Twilight Zone.
That we do.
Today we're talking about episode 30, A Stop at Willouby. This originally aired May 6th, 1960.
Written by the brain daddy himself, Rod Serling.
Brain Daddy.
I was so curious whether or not you were going to do that.
You didn't do it with me. I'm very sad. I was expecting harmony. It didn't happen.
We've never harmonized on Brain Daddy. Why would I assume we were starting that tonight?
Because it could be a new thing.
Okay, let's count it off. 1, 2, fuck you, Brain Daddy.
No.
We're in different
It's
keys.
very
That didn't work.
I tried.
It's worth a shot.
This was directed by Robert Parrish.
What a name.
He was an Academy Award-winning editor, actor, and director in that order. Born January 4th, 1916, and died December 4th, 1995. He is best known for his direction of Saddle the Wind, 1958, and 3 episodes of The Twilight Zone.
Hot diggity. Director of photography on this episode once again was George T. Clemens. He's almost at the point of earning his own stinger song.
Yeah, he's maked quite a few.
He's maked a lot. He's maked a lot in his Twilight Zones.
I am making good choices with my words this Monday. The credited cast. Do you mind if I start this off?
I do.
I'm going to do it anyway.
I figured.
Okay. James Daly was Gart Williams, our main leading guy.
Our main dude.
He was born October 23rd, 1918, and died July 3rd, 1978. Didn't live to see the 80s. Tragedy for him. Died 59 years old of a heart attack, but he was known primarily for his role as Dr. Paul Lochner in the medical drama Medical Center.
Never heard of it.
Interesting name, though.
I mean, it kind of tells you exactly what to expect from the show. So there's that.
There's that. Does what it says on the tin. That show ran from 1969 to 1976.
Do we know if that's how long the show ran or just how long he was on it?
It's possible that it was how long he was on it.
Well, let me do some quick math here. Maths and numbers.
Did we fire Tony?
No, I just forgot to let him out of the closet last week.
Bummer.
And haven't fixed that yet.
We might need a new Tony.
Yeah, if it starts to smell, we'll deal with it.
Oh, I don't like that.
You weren't supposed to.
He also appeared in the film Planet of the Apes, 1968.
Another Planet of the Apes-er.
And Star Trek episode Requiem for Methuselah, 1969.
Then we have Howard Smith, who played Oliver Misrill. He was born August 2nd, 1893. Passed away January 10th, 1968 at 74 years old. Smith had some notable roles as Charlie in Death of a Salesman in 1951 and appeared in Viva Zapata in 1952.
That's a fun name. Death of a Salesman, that film, was that, I wonder if that was the first film adaptation, because I know it was a play previously.
I don't know, shit about Death of a Salesman.
Because I think it was originally written as a play, and then that may have been the first film adaptation.
Timothy, look it up.
Patricia Donahue was the wife Jane Williams. Again, really creative on the names there. Born March 6, 1925, and died June 11th, 2012, at 87 years old. She was most recognized for her role as Lucy Hamilton in the detective series Michael Shane. Is that Shane? That's spelled funny.
Fuck if I know.
All right, 1960 to 1961.
Another one I've never heard of. Mm-hmm. Moving on to our last credited cast of our episode is Jason Wingreen, who played the train conductor. He was born in October of 1920, died December 25th, 2015. He provided the original voice of Boba Fett in Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back in 1980.
Which one is Boba Fett?
He's the assassin, wears a helmet, green.
Okay. My brain, for some reason, thought Jabba the Hutt. I was very confused for a second.
No, that's a giant lizard man that licked Leia, among other things. Most importantly, he's a Hutt.
I don't know what that means.
It's Jabba the Hutt. Hutt is his species.
Got it. Okay, so that was
Speaks
probably
Huttese.
incredibly racist and insensitive, huh?
I don't know that it was racist or insensitive. It just means you should watch the Star Wars movies like I've been saying for 10 years.
I can't. I tried. I failed. I can't.
And he portrayed Harry the bartender in All in the Family and Archie Bunker's Place. I don't want to hear your excuses. I want to hear your thoughts on the entire series chronologically. Let's get into this summary so we can get done with this summary so we can talk about the fun things in this episode that aren't the summary.
Okay. Go for it.
Okay, I'll cue him up and you just let me hit him. Gart Williams, a 38-year-old New York advertising executive, feels overwhelmed by his demanding job and unsympathetic wife. And these are accurate.
Yes.
There is I'm going to say one day, but the fact of the matter is it's a TV show, so we only get to see what's relevant to the TV show. It would be weird if they showed us the 6 months leading up to the one day that's relevant to the episode. So, one day, on his trip home from work, he's commuting on the train, he falls asleep and has a dream about a town called Willouby.
This idyllic, bygone days town.
Very 1888, if I do say so myself. And the conductor confirms that.
The gazebo in the town square, the ice cream trolley.
Kids fishing, looking like Huck Finn.
In a fishing hole that happens to also be there.
Near the train tracks, as all good fishing holes are. They do a fairly good job of depicting Gart's life prior to him seeing Willoughby as kind of a high-stress clusterfuck of a life.
Yep.
Very New York busy.
Yeah.
Which is obviously literally the whole point of this episode. We'll discuss the concept of escapism and its role in the Twilight Zone here a little bit later, but
for sure, it provides a stark contrast between the high stress, and it brings out more of the idyllic nature that is Willoughby. So what the viewer is seeing is more than just this guy's idolized version of this town, but by contrast, we're like, oh yeah, that would be much better, even though I don't really care for gazebos in the middle of town squares.
I'm sorry, are you going to tell me that you don't care for tiny little towns?
I love tiny little
surrounded
towns.
by big cities where you don't have to deal with the big city shit. You can just walk to Rick's fucking cafe. That's not your idyllic town.
I specifically said gazebo in the middle of town, where the band plays. I love small towns.
Oh, you mean like the lakefront park?
Yeah.
Where the bands play?
I don't like that park.
In a gazebo?
I don't like that park.
No, they do a good job of giving us the contrast, because I don't think the chill vibe of Willoughby would hit so hard. Obviously, it wouldn't hit so hard if we weren't first introduced to him mid high-stress business meeting with the world's most obnoxious, unable to pronounce the letter B boss.
Yeah.
The butter. Get the butter. Thank
Very
you, South
much
Park.
that, with the wobble and all.
Yeah, there is a stark contrast, and I think they did a good job of making that contrast notable. And I don't think the episode would hit nearly as hard as it does if they hadn't.
And it feels like they did equal amounts of time, too. Equal before and equal after. in terms of we get to see almost as much of his life pre-Willoughby that we do in his time in Willoughby.
I think it's close. It's actually one of the things that I like about the episode is that they give you a taste of Willoughby initially, and then the second time they give you another taste of it, and it left me anyway really wanting more of Willoughby rather than because like I kind of felt myself like getting that anxious. There is too much bullshit going on every time it cut back to his actual life,
Right.
and the brief stops at Willoughby were kind of peaceful.
Pleasant. Yeah.
And I was feeling for Gart there. But as you do, he wakes up, asks the conductor about Willoughby. Conductor makes it very clear no such stop exists. And then he goes home and tells his wife
About
his dream.
Willoughby. Yeah.
Willoughby?
Willoughby. About Willoughby.
You started talking while I was talking. All I heard was Willoughby, and that's a very different town.
It would be.
A lot of cowboy hats and lips full of chaw in that town.
Now, his wife is not as keen on the idea of Willoughby.
Nah, his wife's not a dreamer.
Gart is. There's also another stark contrast between them. Like, he's talking to her and saying, hey, like, I'm clearly stressed out and overworked, and, like, this town was just amazing, and, like, it was summer, and it was great, and talking about how, you know, the bandstand was, like, playing the songs, and the kids were eating the ice cream, and it's just wonderful. Wonderful. And she is very much like, yeah, it's a dream.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you gotta work to make the monies to give me this life we're living.
Right. She is much more focused on the fact that he almost cost himself his job when he called his boss Fat Boy at the end of their first meeting prior to his first dream. That seems to be her real big
Problem.
focus at the time of conversation, which, mind, in real life, that's a very important thing to be concerned with. You know, if the person responsible for like making sure bills are paid is doing dumb shit at work, that's potentially worrisome.
A little bit, yeah.
So I certainly understand her frustration. I don't like her character.
Not a bit.
And I think that's probably intentional and well done on their part.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. Her there's a lot of in that. The conversation doesn't bother me a whole lot between them, as I feel like they're both focusing on the thing that's important to them, and what's important to her just clearly isn't this random dream he had on the train. She's got bigger things to worry about at the moment, like whether or not they're going to be able to pay mortgage when he inevitably costs himself his job. I do feel like her reaction to the dream was insane.
Mm-hmm. Was just a tad unnecessary.
Yeah, just the blatant, like, grow the fuck up, stop
Hi.
dreaming about hanging out with Huck Finn at the watering hole.
Is high on the dramatics.
Yeah. Other than that, you know, their marriage is probably going to be fine. So it gets back on, well, no, he takes a phone call from his boss next.
Which, doesn't that induce a panic attack in him at some point?
It looks like it. Excuse you, Miss Dew.
Because I'm remembering this specific encounter, and I can't remember if it's actually in the office or if this is over the phone, where you just see his big jowled boss just push, push, push.
So that happens several times, where he flashes back to his boss just screaming at him, push, 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 because that's the nature of their company. At this point, it's when he takes the phone call from his boss. His boss is on the phone yelling at him about what the client's expectation is for some bullshit that nobody cares about. Mm-hmm. When the secretary comes in and starts talking to him about some other unrelated work thing, and then his second phone rings with yet another person wanting to talk to him about work shit, and he is stuck there with a phone in either hand and a secretary and his boss's voice in his head, and he very much has what I would describe as a panic attack.
Yeah. You and I have both been in various job situations where we've had to have multiple phones.
Yes.
And that by itself, we can both attest, is nerve-wracking. When you're standing there and the phones are ringing at the same time, you do get to a point eventually where, like, you just don't care. But
yeah, certainly. Although I would argue that we've both had jobs where having multiple phones was a part of the job, and that sucks. Mm-hmm. And I'll get into the suckiness of that in a minute. But I think the biggest difference is that neither of our jobs that required us to have multiple phones on at any one time were real high stakes career type things. They were jobs, and we both cared about them because, we had bills to pay. And in your case, I think you actually kind of like took some pride in your work.
Well, and when my phone rang, it was usually a resident in distress. So there was a little bit of not career high stakes, but definitely high stakes.
Right, but that's a different kind of high stakes.
For sure.
That's the kind of high stakes that that if you don't handle it properly, somebody could die. And that's very high stakes, obviously. But I don't think it's the same
as like losing a job.
Well, I just don't think it's the same reaction or like the same emotional attachment that somebody would have to like their lifelong career that they're 30 years into, and
For sure.
And this is like performance is everything kind of job where you were taking calls from people that really weren't that fucking important on one phone, and the other phone was like, I slipped and broke my hip and I landed on a fork and now it's sticking out of my thigh, help. Like it's pretty easy to prioritize which one of those fucking phone calls you need to handle. Like the dude that's mad that his Apple iPhone won't let him read his emails in the bath with a toaster. Like that guy can probably hold the fuck on. He's not going to figure it out anyway. That's not going to change if it takes another 2 hours for you to explain why toast in the bath is a bad idea.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
So I don't know. I've never been in a position where like my livelihood and career depended on my performance. Mm-hmm. I've damn baby girl.
She has a sticker stuck to her leg.
Oh, she has one of my t-shirt stickers stuck to her elbow. She doesn't seem to mind.
I'm gonna remove it.
Okay. Be sure to kick the mic stand first.
I'll try.
Nailed it.
Multiple times.
Just waxed her elbow with a t-shirt size sticker.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, she'll be all right. She got a lot of hair on that elbow. So yeah, I've never been in a position where performance determined my longevity in a career any more than anybody who's ever worked a fucking retail job has been in that kind of a position where, yes, the company cares about performance and obviously it's important to them, but he's in a position where it's clearly important to him for his career. Whereas I would argue I only know one person who ever like their performance was important to them when they were working a retail type job, and that was you.
Overachiever at all things.
Indeed.
It's a flaw.
Like I never had that prior to like where I'm working now. Mm-hmm. And even now my performance is not important to me. My hourly rate is important to me, and that's determined by my performance.
Right.
So it's one of those that I just don't know that I don't know that I could actually comprehend the position he's in. Because the closest I've got is obviously when I was working at the tow yard, and I'm managing 2 tow companies at the same time, and I'm the only person on. Right. Got 2 phones dealing with customers for 2 companies,
ringing at all hours
of the day, and half the time it's the police. It took very little time for me to get to a point there where I was like, all right, I got the police on this phone about this company because they need this company to come pick up a car, and I got so-and-so road club on this phone. Which one of these is going to pay more on my commission check?
Which one am I answering?
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know that I ever was in a position where the stakes were really that high.
Sure. Quick side note. Would you say...
Well, my computer goes to sleep. It's probably still recording. Go for it.
Would you say that this particular instance was a little, like Rod and Robert Parrish, the director, was a little bit ahead of their time in having Robert have, like, the multiple phone situation happening? Or do you think because it was set in a place like New York that was just kind of par for the course?
I think it was probably more of a par for the course kind of situation. Mostly in that, like, you know, we see video clips and shit of people on Wall Street that have a, you know, some kind of a communication device of some sort smashed to their head while they're taking notes on a portable typewriter and yelling at somebody that the stocks are down, it's time to sell or some shit. Like,
Yeah.
I think that kind of big business bullshit has always really been a thing. At least, maybe not, obviously it's not always been a thing, but I think as long as there's been big businesses that feel like their profit margins are the most important thing in the world, there's been people who are
Manning multiple
paid
devices.
not enough to man multiple devices and make sure that those profit margins stay as fucking golden as possible.
I think it's probably more we're just reading it through the lens of what we know now.
Yeah, no, I mean, we're definitely gonna, like, watching it today, we're obviously gonna watch it through the lens of somebody living in 2024, and in our case, you know, people who have had jobs where that kind of thing happens. None that pay as well as that one, if I had to guess, but
Probably not.
I will say it's no. I'll get to that when we finish up the wrap, because I do want to talk about why this episode's in my top 3. But we'll get to that once we're done with the episode wrap up.
And outside of Jane's response to, like, Gart's dream, there wasn't a whole lot in the way of, like, dramatics in this episode that we've seen in previous episodes.
No, it's
The dramatics that I love that keep me coming back to every episode. Not a whole lot of that in this one.
no. There's really not. It's a lot of just. It's not a lot of anything. There's not a lot of anything in this episode except for stress
Stress and
being experienced by Gart.
momentary breathers when he's not experiencing the stress.
Right, and other than that, there's not a lot of any one thing.
The editing was really
The
interesting,
editing in this
though,
episode is so fucking on point.
because it's back and forth, back and forth. Like, I don't know about you, but me watching it, I felt my heart rate increase when they would switch back.
When they'd switch him back to the office.
And they gave us just enough time in Willouby to be like, take good, 3 good deep breaths. And then you're back.
Yep.
And the boss is yelling and the phone is ringing and the wife is pissed.
Yeah, no, they did a miraculous job of really making the viewer feel what Gart was going through
And
in the allotted time to do that.
Sure. Yeah. And I absolutely can totally see why he would want to not wake up.
Yeah, no, it's a really well done episode. Like, they are clearly trying to get the idea of the appeal of escapism across, and they fucking kill it.
Made it timeless.
They certainly made it timeless, and it is one of those episodes. It's one of the episodes that I like when people ask me about the Twilight Zone, because inevitably I fucking brag about this podcast whether I should or not.
Sure, I do the same thing.
Inevitably, somebody asks me, like, "Oh, if I'm gonna watch it, like, where's a good place to start?" And my natural impulse is to say "Time Enough at Last."
Yeah,
being
'cause
my
that's
favorite episode.
a great episode to start on.
And I think of all of the episodes of the Twilight Zone, original and reproduction, I still think Time Enough at Last holds the
Top
bar
place.
for me.
Yeah.
But it is a stop at Willoughby that I suggest for people now, because in 2024, I think there is not a better representation of humans than this episode.
For sure, yeah. And especially, like, what we as a modern day society have gone through, it just in the last 4 years alone, what with COVID, the lockdown, those of us who didn't have a lockdown and worked through it, like,
How was lockdown, guys? Like
Did you get one?
Don't get me wrong. I'm not suggesting that like you had it better than I did because I worked through it. I don't honestly know who had it better or worse. It just kind of seems like it sucked for all of us. I just don't actually know anybody. Like everybody I know ended up fucking working through it. Mm-hmm. Like we were all fucking essential services. Like what the fuck is that? Why were none of us bagging groceries during COVID?
Right.
None of us.
No, but we read and we watch about those people who stayed home because of one reason or another, were not essential workers, and so they picked up 15 hobbies.
I know, I'm jealous as fuck.
Like, I want to make sourdough.
I don't want to make sourdough. But I also don't want to be like out of money because I'm relying on the government to send me a $600 check every 9 months because that's all I need to survive.
For sure.
Don't get it twisted. I'm mostly just curious because I was towing cars through the entirety of that.
Yeah.
I will say, and this is maybe a shitty take on COVID, and it's certainly not the only thing I took away from COVID. Obviously, it was a tragedy, and it never should have fucking happened. It was entirely fucking avoidable, United States government and the rest of the world. I wasn't allowed to have anybody in my tow truck.
Yeah. That was nice for you.
Get to, like, an accident scene, and like, oh, I need to go home with my car. Bitch, sorry.
Nope. 6 feet.
Daddy government said you're not allowed in my truck. Back the fuck up. That was a beautiful time for my career as a tow truck driver.
I will say, that's one of the only things that I miss was that 6 feet rule.
I would be perfectly okay with nobody in public ever getting within 6 feet of me again.
But going back to my original point.
Right, what were we talking about?
Is that we as a society have been through so much.
In the last half a decade.
Like, I mean, it's all the same.
Hey, 2024, what's your body count, homie? A fucking year.
Yeah, well, we're almost done with it, I think.
It's okay, 2025 is looking like it's going to be so much better.
Well, we'll see. It's not here yet. Like, we
as a society have been through a lot recently.
And therefore the idea of escapism, like this is why through the various media outlets you find people who have, various followings, like the rise of book talk and other societal within media things, all looking for the same form of like escapism. All looking for like, hey.
So are we going to get into this right now? Or should I feel like that's the obvious topic. No, I feel like that is the point to be discussed. Should we finish the episode recap real quick before we dive into this?
I thought we were done. Go for it.
No, he's dead now.
Oh, good.
We forgot about that, but we hadn't got to that part yet. Watch the episode. It's a fantastic story. He gets off in Willouby.
And stays there.
I'm going to leave it at that. Now, escapism. Yes. I agree. Mm-hmm. The shit we've been through as a society in the last 4, 5, 6, 12, 11, 20, 30 fucking years. I don't know. When was Clinton getting blown? Since then-ish. I feel like as of late, not only... I don't actually think that looking for an escape from daily life is actually more popular than it was prior to the bullshit we went through. I do think that there's a
resurgence.
I just think it's being accepted now. Like people are willing to talk about it because nobody is embarrassed to say, "Oh yeah, no, I got home from work and you know what I did? I did research for the 3 podcasts that I put out and then I recorded one of those episodes and I edited some stuff and then I went to bed and I didn't think about anything that happened today or in the last 2 weeks. It was a good day." Similarly, I went home and I watched a movie and then I went to bed and it was a great movie. Or I read a book or I played a video game. I just don't think people are ashamed to admit that, no, sometimes life fucking sucks.
Yeah.
And it's okay to find a fucking escape, whatever that is. Like, make it a healthy escape,
For sure, yeah.
If you like the gym, fucking go to the gym. Like, fucking work it out. If you like video games, play a video game, read a book. Fucking get on your motorcycle and drive safely for as long as you need to. I think it's just more socially acceptable because we're not dealing with. It's not our parents' generation that's talking right now, that's being heard right now. It's our generation. It's the generation that's coming after us, or the people being heard, and we're just not all that ashamed to be like, no, it sucks. I don't like it.
Took a mental health day and read 3 books, laying in bed, not moving. Like,
right? It's fuck it, dude.
I'll be back at it tomorrow. Like,
fucking get back at it if you feel like it. I don't give a shit. Like, are you kidding me?
And that is also, I think, what our parents' generation looks down upon, because they're seen as the same old story. We're seen as
same shit.
Unmotivated,
We're
yada,
lazy.
yada,
Nobody
yada.
wants to work anymore.
And that's just simply not true. We cannot survive without working 2 jobs. And
I disagree that it's not true. Like, I do not want to work. Are you fucking kidding me? I've been working for gross 15 years now. Full-time for 15 years now.
Huh.
I've taken 2 vacations since I started working. One of them was when we got married, and the other was a family reunion on a boat. Both of those happened in the last 10 years.
yeah.
I don't fucking want to work.
See,
I don't blame anybody who doesn't want to work.
I enjoy working, but I think that
You're weird.
for the same reason that, like, the daily grind versus Willoughby, like, I enjoy working because I like the routine of the work. And then when I do get that PTO and take that PTO, it's so much nicer.
I mean, good on you. The world needs people like you, but I'm going to be honest, I'd get the fuck off at Willoughby. No second thoughts, no questions asked. As long as my dog can come with me, that town seems fucking awesome.
Especially the ice cream trolley.
The ice cream trolley, fuck, dude, I'll go fishing with Huck Finn and his weird, tall, blonde friend. I don't even like fishing. I'll go to the fishing hole. I play banjo. I'll play banjo for the fucking fish. I don't care.
You might have more success that way.
I don't know. Are fish attracted to banjo?
Probably.
Let me know in the comments.
YouTube video?
I don't know. The fish definitely aren't attracted to YouTube.
That'd be wild.
There's no way they can have a screen down there and never survive underwater. Yeah, no, it is as relevant an episode today as it was in 1960, and that's fucking wild.
Yeah.
Like, that's impressive. I do think there's probably a gap, a change in. It's not just the high intensity New York executives that are looking for an escape from the everyday. You know, he was looking for an escape from his job, the anxiety, the stress. Most of the people I know are looking for an escape from the fucking news. Like,
yeah.
Like, we're all just tired of existing through
what we're seeing and living through.
Worldwide fucking first times and society changing events and shit. Like,
and we can only do so much in terms of turning the TV and the radio off, you know?
Yeah, no, I mean, if you want my suggestions, start a podcast. And then start 2 more. And then work on music. And
some audio products.
Some audio,
on top of
read
that.
audiobooks. Find a reason to sit and or stand in front of a computer screen that's not connected to any kind of news outlet for 8 to 12 hours a day, and then work a full-time job.
Then you won't have to worry about it.
You don't even have to think.
It's pretty aces.
Yeah.
I don't have that. I just maintain a strict regimen of not turning on a TV.
Yeah, I don't. I mean,
I don't currently have a TV to turn on, so it's
even
fine.
if I turn on the TV, it's not connected to anything but
streaming sites.
Yeah. And it's fuck, dude. Like, I'll work an extra 2 hours if it, like, every day if it means I can pay for YouTube Red, so I don't ever have to see a political campaign on YouTube. Like, do as I say, not as I do. Don't just sit in front of a computer screen for 8 hours a day. That's obviously not good for you. But definitely start a podcast or an audiobook or a YouTube channel. Fucking just do something.
Do a creative thing.
Do something that forces you to think about not stuff.
Not daily life stuff, anyway. Do a creative thing. It's a good outlet. It's cathartic if you are thinking about the stuff.
I mean, and that I can't. I don't know if that'll work for everybody.
It
doesn't even work for me.
They don't even have to be big things. Like,
no, they shouldn't be big things. Look, welcome to my TED Talk. If you're looking to get into escapism, have you found that the daily grind has really got you down? Congratulations, you're paying attention. I don't have more of that.
Oh, man, I was hoping for, like, a what if there. I was waiting for, like, the what if style of, like, PSA.
Are you under the impression that I just bust out my what if voice randomly throughout the day when shit comes up?
No, but it would have been prime opportunity here.
Fucking boss. Hey, did you clock in when you got here? What if you just got on the computer and fucking corrected it? Wander with us, fucker.
I enjoy that. You could also, like, we can make business cards and you could just hand them out with your random what ifs. Hey, it's a creative thing. A little bit of shameless self-promotion. That's fine.
You know, I could screen print business cards en masse. 17 by 17 screen.
I think I just gave him another project.
I could fit so many business cards on those screens.
Oops.
Connor Dare, flip it over. What if? Random thing.
TM.
You can't trademark a fucking business card. Those have existed since Willouby.
Trademark the idea, though. It's good.
Trademark the idea of useless business cards that get handed out. I've already done that. It's called my photography business. You know how I know it's useless? Nobody ever calls. I'm a good photographer, guys. What's up? Phone's still not ringing. You're letting me down, Singapore. Hey, if you're in Singapore, don't call me for photography work.
Hey.
What's up, thug?
I just had a thought.
Did it hurt?
Sometimes it's dangerous, but at this case, how would you say, because you're familiar with Walking Distance. It's one of your favorites, top 5. How does this episode compare with that, in your opinion?
I think this episode is very much in the exact same vein as Walking Distance.
How is it different, though?
The suicide.
Oh, well.
Mostly.
He fell asleep.
He jumped off a train. Yeah. So if I'm being honest, the first time I saw A Stop at Willoughby, I thought that Willoughby was the same town from Walking Distance.
Oh, yeah.
Because the gazebo looks identical.
Yeah.
To the town in Walking Distance. I mean, there's not a huge difference in reality. Both of them are telling the same story. They're just telling the story through a slightly different lens. One guy is looking for, in the case of A Stop at Willoughby, it's a guy looking for an escape from his daily life, an escape from the grind and the stress. In Walking Distance, it's a dude who's idealized the past and is just looking for a way back to what he found comfortable, what he misses about childhood and that whole you can never go home again thing.
Yeah. But they're both longing for nostalgia.
They're both longing for I think the idea behind the episodes is that they're both longing for something you can't have. I think in reality they're both longing for something that's very difficult to get back once you've moved away from it. But yeah, I honestly, for a long time, and I don't know that it's not the case, but I thought that Willoughby was supposed to be a representation of the town from Walking Distance.
And I mean, we have proof that they've reused sets and such in the past. It's not unlikely that's the same thing.
No, it's entirely possible that there was more in common there than what was intended by the stories. But even if they didn't intend it, I feel like it's
thematically
it's the same shit. And the idea of longing for escape is not new to humans. It's certainly not new to the Twilight Zone.
I forgot the Gart jumped from the train. Because the first 2 introductions we have to Willoughby, he falls asleep and he's dreaming. I totally forgot that he actually jumped off the train.
Yeah, so we don't get to see him jump off the train, obviously, because it's a network television show, but
In the 50s,
in
60s.
the 60s, the implication is that either he intentionally jumped off the train to kill himself and thus wound up in Willoughby, or that he was in fact dreaming about Willoughby, and when he got off the train in his dream for the first time, actually getting off the train in Willoughby, that was him stepping off of the moving train in New York. They don't clarify, other than the conductor telling the medical examiner that he said something about Willoughby and then walked off the platform. And that was the last anybody saw him, which is a stupid statement as they're standing over his body.
Right.
Clearly wasn't the last time anybody saw him.
But who's gonna look into those details?
I would hope the medical examiner.
No, that'd be asking too much.
It is asking too much. I will say, you've brought us to the point of my favorite part of the episode. I very much love this episode. I identify with this episode far more than I'm comfortable with. It's a great episode. But my favorite part of this episode is the coroner's car.
Is the what?
The coroner's car.
Oh, yes, yes.
He closes the back door after picking up the body.
It's a beautiful breaking of that fourth wall.
Fifth wall. Sixth wall.
The dimension known as the Twilight Zone.
That's the 69th wall. Nice. No, I can't do that. I can't nice my own 69 knot joke. Damn it. Sorry, listeners.
Anyway.
I failed you. They load Gart's body into the hearse. That's not a hearse. It's hearse-esque. Maybe it's
hearse-shaped.
Yeah, I don't.
The sign is what's
I don't fucking know. They close it, and the sign on the back of the hearse is Willoughby and Sons Funeral Home. And it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. It's in the exact same font as the Willoughby sign that is in Willoughby at the station when he gets off the train.
It's a good merging of dream world and reality.
And it's one of those things that I have wondered if the idea, and it's not confirmed because we had 22 minutes to make this fucking episode. I have wondered if the implication there is that at some point he saw the Willoughby and Son funeral home or whatever the case may be, and that just like
stuck
in his brain, and that little bit of his subconscious thinking about death, thinking about the funeral parlor or the company, whatever the case may be, just kind of crawled into his sleeping brain while thinking about escaping his normal everyday bullshit life that he was unhappy with.
And formulated Willoughby, created it.
Yeah, I wonder.
I like that.
I should ask Rod.
Or the Foundation. We could write him a letter.
They're not going to know the answer.
They might.
Hey, can you say if anything's in Rod's diary about Willoughby?
I was going to say, maybe he kept a diary.
He might have kept a diary. He seems like the diary
episode
type.
Notes? I don't know.
Now, episode notes, that might be something. What's your favorite part of this episode?
Same. The metaphysical connection there between the false or the idyllic dream that is Willoughby and that dark little punchy tag at the end. Oh, damn it.
Just elbowed the shit out of a toolbox.
Yeah.
Shouldn't do that.
It's not funny.
No.
It's not a funny bone.
It's a hilarious bone. Unless it's yours.
But it really bridges that gap between like the idyllic Willoughby, and I like that it's a dark little punchy twist on his current reality, which is him not existing in it.
Yeah, no.
And I like that as well. That was very good.
Something beautiful between the connection between reality and idyllic dream world being his exiting reality for the idyllic dream world.
It's a happy ending, which we don't usually get in the Twilight Zone. Like
it's so weird to call a suicide a happy ending.
But it is for him.
It's a happy ending for him. With that said, if you're sad or contemplating things, find a number to call. I'm not your therapist. Fuck. Call somebody.
A friend.
In the words of my least favorite people on this thing we call the internet, honey, call your dad, you're in a cult or some shit.
Wow.
No? They're very successful. I'm very happy for them. I can't listen to their show.
Hi, Georgia. Karen.
Their names are Georgia and Karen.
Uh-huh. He's alluding to my favorite murder, which is a podcast that I was mildly obsessed with a couple years ago. They're doing really, really well. They're touring and stuff now.
No, dude, they are great at what they do, and I am not taking anything away from them or the product they create. It's just, it's not my cup of tea, so I'm going to go over here and have some coffee.
Yeah.
With the McAvoys.
It's the...
Because that's my cup of tea.
You know, it's the voices. People are sensitive to voices usually.
That's my biggest
part
thing,
of my
is
thing,
I have trouble with them.
I'm the same
They're
way with...
They're fantastic at what they do.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Great show.
Very happy for them.
If you like
success.
True crime and people talking about it.
They are the reason it's popular in reality.
Well, one of them, yeah. Yeah.
Them and Netflix deciding that serial killers should be sexy.
Sure, I don't.
Hey, Netflix.
What?
Fucking stop it.
It's not okay.
Zac Efron? Really? That's Ted Bundy?
Yikes.
Come on.
But I'm the same way with various YouTube people as well. Voice is everything, and if I can't, I can't.
Well, and I might be a little more sensitive than I have any actual right to be on that topic.
Just because of the sheer amount of media you consume.
Well, the sheer context under which I can consume media, because I spend most of my free time creating. Mm-hmm. So when I'm consuming media, it's while I'm at work, and I drive for a living, which means it's a headphone. I do not have a visual on most of the media that I take in during the day, so it's real hard for me to get past voices stuffs. Especially when I get to hear this one. Yes.
Why?
Check out my audiobook coming soon.
Good plug. Is that what you're showing their ears this week?
No.
Do you have a thing for that?
First of all, not my audiobook. I'm simply narrating it. I did not write the book.
I feel like that's an important distinction.
It is important. I don't want to take credit for Alicia's work. I mean, I probably could plug that. It's not available yet, and it won't be for a little while. But you know what? You know what I can plug? And it's not what I was planning on bringing, but on the topic. Deviant Secrets. It's the most recent book in the series of the audiobook that I'm recording.
Okay.
The most recent release in that series is called Deviant Secrets. It was recently banned on Amazon for its content being too...
risque.
Controversial and risque. So if you're a fan of banned books and don't mind adult romantic novels...
You sound so uncomfortable.
I'm trying to figure out... Okay, bear with me. Don't tell Alicia this, because if she finds out, she might fire me. I don't know where the line between adult romance and erotica is. I know there is a line, but I don't know where it is, and I don't know what side of that line this series falls on.
When the clothes start falling off explicitly, I think. I think that's where the line kind of crosses over.
Check out Deviant Secrets. I think we can officially say it's on a banned book list.
Fun.
Because it was banned. It was removed from Amazon. At the time of recording, if it's back by now, whoops. At the time of recording, it's been banned on Amazon. So check it out. Go to a bookstore near you. I don't know if you can find it there. It's called Deviant Secrets.
Good.
Okay, hey listener, I'm going to fill you in on a little behind the scenes that you can't see because you're watching us with your ears. I just glanced over to see my wife looking at me like she literally could not give two shits about what I'm saying and really wants me to finish so she can tell us what she's bringing. What are you bringing?
Oh, was it reminiscent though of the parasitology series? Because that's what I keep envisioning when I'm looking over at you and just smiling, and the way you look at me when I'm smiling.
Oh, you mean the sheer terror and irritation on my face while you're sitting there showing me all of your teeth because there's no actual, like, love or feeling behind the smile? It's just a polite hurry up and stop talking.
No, I was listening, and you should check out the things. It's great.
What's it called? What's the thing called that I just mentioned?
Deviant Secrets?
Oh, goddamn. Maybe she was listening.
Stuff, yeah.
What are you showing their fucking ears? Please tell me it's another water bottle.
No, this time it's tea.
For fuck's sake.
I recently discovered Smith Tea Maker. Specifically Stephen Smith Tea Makers.
Is that a person, a place, a thing?
It's a person who has a tea company. They
so
have
it's
this,
a person and a thing.
Yes. They have this tea.
I bet they have a location, which also makes it a place.
Probably.
God damn.
Portland, maybe? They make this tea called Black Lavender, which is a blend of 2 different black teas with lavender and rose. It's really good. New tea, fancy tea, makes me very happy. You should look up black lavender and see where you can find it in a local store near you. That's it.
So you don't care if it's Billy Bob Smith's black lavender, just as long as they find some black lavender.
No, that specific tea, actually. Stephen Smith Tea Maker.
I was so
black
close.
Lavender.
Got the last name right.
Yeah, it's not difficult to do.
I disagree entirely.
But it's very good. They also have a Christmas tea coming out, which is really nice.
If it doesn't taste like pines and or Douglas fir, I'm going to be very disappointed.
I think there is Douglas fir in it, actually.
I only recently found out that people like make Douglas fir flavored things.
Yeah, and nettle tea.
And it was a tea. Mm-hmm. It was Douglas fir and caramel. And I'm gonna be honest.
Did you? Oh, where did you find this? Because I want that.
I'm not. No. Absolutely not.
I'm not gonna make you drink it.
That's good because I won't.
I want it.
My understanding is he bought it at a tea place in Eugene. That's all I know.
I gotta get the name. Okay.
I, as a person that likes to make things, both physical and audio, when I hear Douglas fir, being as I live in Oregon, I think of 2x4s.
Sure, you think of the wood.
Yes, because if you're in the state of Oregon and you're trying to save a little money on lumber, the only available option is Douglas fir.
Uh-huh.
I build chairs out of that.
Yes. So you heard wood tea.
I heard
wood and caramel tea.
I heard, hey, do you want some construction grade tea? And I'm gonna be honest, no, I don't. I don't want good tea.
Is there some left? Side note, though. Like,
so,
does it exist in this house currently?
No. You think I wouldn't have told you if Jacob had Douglas fir tea?
I don't know. That's the first time I'm hearing about it right now.
She thinks that my roommate is the only person I know. Feels good. Feels good. It feels good to feel good. My wife believes my only friend is the person I share a house with. Feels good to feel good. I'm going to design that shirt tonight.
Good. I want one.
I bet you do.
I do.
I'm going to put Douglas fir on the fucking sleeve.
So you didn't want construction grade caramel tea?
I didn't want construction grade caramel tea, but I did taste it, and it tasted like pine. Like it tasted.
That's weird.
All trees taste like pine. I don't know.
I want to find it though. Now I'm on a mission.
All I know is he bought it at a tea shop in Eugene.
Okay, I'll have to find it.
I will probably see him again the next week or so. I will see if he remembers the name of the Pine Tree Tea Company.
Yeah. Anyway, that's it. Yeah.
What was the name of that place again? Because I'm sure the listeners have already forgot. I have already forgot.
Oh, my one?
Yeah.
So the company, the brand is Stephen Smith Tea Makers.
Check out Stephen Smith Tea Makers if you like tea. Mm-hmm. Not a sponsor.
They have a Christmas one that's good. Black lavender is good. It's all good.
And if you're of an age where it's appropriate, check out Deviant Secrets. if you can find it. It's so taboo, Amazon wouldn't even carry it at the time of recording.
Right.
It's
Yes.
very important that I don't know what their plans are. They might bring it back. I don't know.
As of December, what is today?
Nope, at the time of recording.
Okay, fine. Got it. Noted. It's the fine print.
I don't know. I don't know what time, when this episode's going out, so I just want to be as clear as possible.
As vaguely clear as possible.
As vaguely clear as possible. At the time of recording, it has been banned on Amazon.
Marble rating for this episode.
5. Fucking 5.
Okay.
Obviously a 5.
Also 5, 10.
Bam. Congratulations. Stop it, Willouby. You've tied for highest rated episode of The Twilight Zone according to Wander With Us.
So far. Hey.
I mean, nobody will ever score higher.
We are like halfway through season 1. Yeah?
That can't be right.
We have to be
There
right
cannot be 60 episodes in season 1.
So then we're more than halfway.
Hold, please. Whoa, phone. I don't know what the tingler is, but that's not what I was searching. Callie, you have the most comical, cartoonish snore.
She sounds like the old grandpa
Absolutely
on every
ridiculous.
cartoon.
You can almost see the Z's coming off her head.
I can. It's in the fog.
There are 36 episodes
Okay,
in
this is...
season 1. This is episode 30.
All right, 6 episodes
We have
left.
6 episodes left, and boy howdy,
It's been a ride.
within 2 decades, we're going to get through season 1. I tell you what.
That just means season 2 is going to go a lot quicker.
Yeah.
Because we won't take like a 4-year break.
Certainly won't take 3 of them. Ay, Dios mío. Porque no los dos.
I've been Bethany.
I'm still Connor.
This has been Wonder With Us.
It's still been a podcast.
Thanks for listening.
We'll see you next time. Wander off listening to the snores of our dog. Guys, she's 6 feet from the microphone. It doesn't make any sense.
She's so cute.
She's fucking adorable.
Her paws
Hey,
are all tucked in.
Tomothy, hit the music.